So Trump will likely not be prosecuted. Time for the showers of crocodile tears. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is another declaration of truth from your host, Terry A. Hurlbut. The grand jury looking into how Donald Trump may or may not have spent some campaign money about 5 years ago will reconvene today. Maybe. We don't know. But we do know that the lack of any indictment thus far is a great disappointment to the American left, or it certainly should be, considering that things have not turned out as they boasted that they would. A new Twitter thread makes that boasting embarrassingly clear. Before I show you the thread and the reaction to it, I do want to shout out to the prime sponsor of this channel, which is Conservative News and Views. Link in the description. And be sure to check out the awesome CNAV Store. Scroll down near the bottom for that link. Lots of great merchandise there, especially this t-shirt that I've chosen for today, which depicts Trump as the great MAGA king. And that, of course, is what this is all about. That's the part that really makes a lot of summers, doesn't it? One more thing. If you like what you're about to hear, you can like this video. You can also click the bell icon to get a notice every time I come out with a new one. In fact, do you see the new icon, the heart shape with the US dollar sign in it? That's the super thanks icon. If you really want to keep these videos coming, click that and leave me a tip. Any currency will do, so long as it's legal tender. Now then. The user known as War Clandestine on Twitter put together a thread of embedded video and quoted tweets. It came out yesterday afternoon, and all of them say the same thing. Trump is evil, and now he has run out of time. I have links in the description to 5 of the tweets. They are the odd numbers, and then the last, which is an even number. So, here goes. This time last week, the left were convinced Trump was going to be indicted, perp-walked, and arrested. A week later, not only is none of that happening, but Trump only gained popularity. And the left and the mainstream media have egg on their faces once again. It's time to point and laugh. Here he embeds what looks like a movie clip. I'm not going to tell you what movie it's from, but you just see a bunch of guys laughing uproariously. Moving on. How could we forget this absolute gem from Joe Scarborough and MSNBC on The Morning Joe Show, with a panel of propagandists fantasizing about Trump in handcuffs. High on his own supply, Joe says the infamous "the walls are closing in" line they have been using since 2017. Of course, the left-wing news media had their mutual pleasure section, parental judgment and discretion advised. But how can we forget the knee-slapping segments from talk show hosts like Jimmy Fallon? I wonder whether Jimmy will be recreating a similar segment for Alvin Bragg, given that he is the one facing indictment now. Here he embeds a 2.5-minute segment from Jimmy Fallon's show. Now, I won't vouch that Alvin Bragg is actually facing indictment, but he does stand accused of withholding evidence. That's a very serious thing. Robert Morgenthau never did that. Moving on. I always feel bad making fun of Rob Reiner because he's so far gone, but the low-hanging fruit is simply too juicy. It's a sick fetish for these people. They are rabid, foaming at the mouth, blinded by their hatred for Trump. Poor Rob Reiner, wrong again. Now, you've heard me talk about Rob Reiner before this. I figured since we are laughing at Rob Reiner, I could laugh at other mentally unfit individuals, so I hopped over to Brooklyn Dad Defiant to see what embarrassing tweets he has about Trump's arrest that didn't happen. Heavens to Betsy, this man needs help. Here he embeds quite a collage. Arrest Donald J. Trump, arrest Trump now, arrest is yet to come, and one other treat I won't repeat here. It definitely crosses the family-friendly line. Speaking of people who need help, how could we forget about the hog mollies on The View? They spent all week indulging on the bait Trump offered them, but recently their tune has changed. A dejected Joy Behar admits she's been duped. Again. Now you remember my talking about Jane Fonda saying that she wants to... Never mind. Oh, by the way, that term hog molly, that seems to be a term for an offensive lineman in American football. Now, if that's true, you can guess what he means to say about the body habitus of at least some of the hostesses of The View. I will close the curtain of charity on that and move on. The left are shifting to the narrative that Trump is the one who started this rumor when it was a leak to the New York Times. Trump responded to the leak. He didn't start the rumor. Now, did he deceive the left-wing media? Absolutely. Played them like a fiddle. And here he links to the New York Times piece that really started all the rumors flying. But please, if you all have any high-profile people with embarrassing tweets or mainstream media segments talking about the Trump arrest that didn't happen, add it to the comments. If it's good, I'll add it to the thread. The left had their fun, now it's time to eat their crow. End of thread. Before I get to the reaction to this thread, I want to shout out to a sponsor who can really help you through the economic storms to come. That sponsor is oursilverlines.com. Do you feel like you're working harder for your money just to get by? You are not alone. The fluctuating economy, employment issues, and unexpected changes in life have left many families struggling over the past few years. Collecting gold and silver can help shield you against many of these challenges. But if you're like me many years ago, you don't know where or how to start. Our Silver Lines helps by connecting you with thousands of members who are learning the secrets to creating and protecting true wealth by collecting precious metals. Whether you just want to collect rare and unique coins or take advantage of the business opportunities this company provides, either way, they can help you learn to live an exceptional life. Visit oursilverlines.com to learn how you can build a legacy for your future. Now, reaction to this thread runs about, I'd say, 2-to-1 in favor. I have links in the description to 7 tweets in all. The first 4 are typical. Now let's see. First, we have a picture of the same man pulling the same astonished and hopeful face, reacting to the same thing. He's a Democrat hearing the mainstream media say they have information that will totally bring down Trump. Except the first caption says he's hearing it for the first time. And the second says that he's hearing it for the 4,689th time. And still wearing that absurd expression of hope. Well, you all remember how Albert Einstein defined insanity. The second has a picture of what could be Trump's youngest son, Barron. But the caption reads, Donald Trump learned their ways, learned their tricks, turned against them, and gave up everything to fight and win for the American people. Best president ever. For the third, we have Donald Trump's face replacing the lion's face on the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer logo. Instead of the usual motto, Ars Gratia Artis, you just have laughter. Quite appropriate, I'd say. In the fourth, we have a picture of a wolf labeled Democrats making a flying leap from a cliff overhang to attack an eagle labeled Trump. Well, you can imagine what happens to the wolf after that. One user guessed, probably correctly, that Trump used the rumor of his impending arrest to great tactical advantage. That's the fifth tweet, in which someone says that how Trump handled this was a stroke of genius. Did Trump simply guess wrong? One user thought so. But the sixth tweet has another user replying to that and saying the guy should know better. Research, common sense, and truth, all three will set you free, he says. And last, and my absolute favorite, we have good old Charlie Brown, labeled liberals, with Lucy Van Pelt, that's right, sports fans, teeing up the football, labeled Trump arrest, with my most humble apologies to the estate of Charles M. Schultz. And now my analysis. You will recall that Trump seems no closer to an arrest now than he did at any time after he left office. To the contrary, New York County District Attorney Alvin Bragg stands accused of withholding evidence. He canceled a grand jury session slated for last Wednesday. Though he convened the grand jury Thursday, he then dismissed it for the rest of the week. Technically, the grand jury is on schedule to reconvene later today. Whether it actually will or not remains for us to see. In the meantime, each representative and senator want to see Bragg arrested for withholding evidence. The pressure on Bragg and his office must be telling on him. The New York Post reports that a member of the DA staff rudely answered a member of House Judiciary Committee staff and who called that office for information on the Trump case. The Post has only an anonymous source for this interaction, but apparently it went like this. The Judiciary Committee employee called Bragg's office and barely identified himself before the woman answering the phone hung up. So he called back. Apparently a different female employee answered him back, and I quote, "Your committee has no jurisdiction over us. You're wrong. Stop calling us with this." You don't want me to repeat that last word. So then, Mr. Piffwitz said, and again I quote, "I don't think I've ever seen any government entity respond to Congress in that manner. It's quite embarrassing, but I don't think anyone is surprised based on how partisan that office has become." Close quote. That office was anything but partisan in the 34 years that Robert Morgenthau ran it. In fact, Robert Morgenthau had no opposition in election after election from 1985 to 2005. Now, Robert Morgenthau was just as willing to prosecute white-collar crime as violent crime. One member of the defense bar said that Morgenthau felt just as great a need to prosecute crime in the suites as crime in the streets. But we'll likely never know whether Morgenthau would have even attempted to prosecute Donald Trump with the evidence Alvin Bragg even allegedly has. Sadly, the New York County D.A.'s office has nothing in common with the office Robert Morgenthau ran and then left. Then again, Alvin Bragg was not part of Morgenthau's original team. And worse, Bragg has a reputation for failing to prosecute even violent offenders, and instead prosecuting those who defend themselves against violent attack. Bragg is likely trying to drop the case against Trump after it blew up in his face. But New York's voters will have to decide whether they really want a political district attorney who cares little about crime victims. Trump, meanwhile, has emerged stronger than ever, which cannot make the left happy. Links in the description to the article, to the thread, to the 7 tweets in reaction to the thread, to my Declarations of Truth Twitter account, and to Conservative News and Views. I've also left links to the awesome CNAV Store and ourcivilized.com, as I also mentioned. You know already about how to like a video, turn on notifications, and leave a tip. On the end screen, I want to leave a subscribe link to my channel and links to a new Trump arrest playlist and videos I have previously done on Rob Reiner and Jane Fonda. This is Terry A. Hurlbut delivering another declaration of truth and reminding you to let the truth set you free.